Danandana Zara Damje the Lama Laba Laya Jizo Lozon Yonde Jamsa Lava Dendra Donchin Vegala Zor Trenchin Zava Lama Jij Kuzon do Jezilan Dada Daga Julan Pede Daga Demba Dansen Jeje Don Jajin Bondra Parasin Jelabdu So Oh, Dini Tamala Trashteles Na Dini Data Hide Jabrashinji Gui Da Mipa the Tonema Hubari Dara Garchen Yamgo de la Torre, the Garchen Yamgo Hibadal Chirdang Trovok Garchen Yamgo Hugh Garchen Yamgo Sinayore the Dara Trovok the Gargo Shibadala Gui Garsum Sung Garsum Tog Garsums the Gusong Toku Yundi Tama Dinan Dohyorin the down there don't da si dong Tony the Koran Palatiki Yundi Yung zo undu tag ton dini durza simchin tamje la dini de dini tle drag toni dini rodon si ba ten sung yo bare ta de dambo gigba hibate dini girl dan chin ta pebze hiwa kap sung ra chin pebze hiwa do de sung do cha de yorwa gigba hibate Teni pawa hibate jenshi jiba maransu ji chaba hyodo teni da chonyers chiwa zigba ten jigba ten pa da du teni jingnang ji yongwa raoji yore de ta dong toni teni duso darade jangba de ninji tamje zar zo yo ba ke da de cha de yudu de la ge garchen nyamsum tene nekap je wandse na tene jiktin ke latso tamje serjin ba ten songo yore jiktin latso tamje serjin no shi bande koran so rangun nelo ngo to sundu tene ransem wang dun dun na yinang serjin no wa de cha yo bare
So then we said we're going to talk about those 9 modes of dance. So there are actually 9 for wrathful and also 9 for 9 modes of dance for peaceful. So here in the context of the wrathful deities, and there are 3 moods of the body and 3 of the speech and 3 of the mind, which makes 9. So, and these 9 represent all the qualities of the deity's body, speech, and mind. And so it is the actual meaning represented by the symbol. So then the first one is So the meaning that is represented is that in different ways, through different moods, the deity benefits sentient beings. And so the first one of the first group of 3 are the 3 of the 3 moods of the body. And the first one is charming mood. And that also is in a peaceful expression, which represents the major and the minor marks of a Buddha. And then the second one is bravery, and that is the looking after us with affection. And then there is the fearsome expression, which is also expressed by the wrathful frowns or the wrinkles. So externally, it seems that they are wrathful and frowning, but actually it is a sign of this fearsome expression is a sign of looking after us with love and compassion too. So that these 3 are the 3 expressions of the body, and on also temporary or relative level, they represent the kind of outshining or overpowering of the worldly gods. And sorry, there's more. And so then from the ultimate perspective of having realized the nature of the mind, it represents, as you mentioned before, one gains control over one's own perceptions, one's own appearances, and thereby then controls or overpowers the appearance or perceptions of others.
Tenida sung garsom de garisina hahas, de la gubas and zintabare. Then a chok tone. Then Tara hehe shibade la shewa sin zintabare. Shewa shibade, Benangaran sochi, Pama to soke, Pugula Zewa chimbo yudi, then Pugache, Berna, Goma goyando, the Java Dukjalen, then Pamak, the Zewa Kang, then young Hikitoya Yorua. That the David Chad Yorua. Then it trashur shibade home pig shibande. Home shibande, that Jin and here Yanger Hugan. Pig shibade, hirap down, ninja song to the Rambaton that chang Yorujang. Then the trashurs that dick song cars some deke, then a lodan, do that, Jersin la sopanova tamchi, Sergino song. Then comes up Jawan Sena, don't number one Sena. That is what I'm taking Jibal, Tarsum, what it's around Tarbas.
And the next three are the three expressions of the speech. The first one is like expression is haha, which is the laughter, the laughing expression. So it is a kind of a joyful laughing expression. The second one is he he, which is the is scolding or stern, a stern expression, which, for example, is when a parent, of course, a parent loves their child, but sometimes the child is naughty, and then the parent becomes very stern and strict. So it is a stern, strict, scolding expression. And then the third one is called expressed through hung pet, and is called the savage expression. So about hung later, but about pet first. Pet represents the union of method and wisdom and compassion. So together, the three moods of the speech overpower the nagas and maras, different demons, and also the Indra and so on, the powerful gods, and on the relative level, and on the ultimate level, these three moods represent the state of emancipation or liberation.
Then Tokji cars, Tokji Nyapsa, Shibate, then Tambo de Ninjas, then Dubon Tamji Sergio but Ninji, Katon Trium Bacha de Yoruba, then Maron Beleng in Batamji, Jubar Sevak Tony, Hiwas, Ninja Deyan, then Hiwak Ninji. Then that Tuji Janta deke, then Simjin Tamji, Dunamia Mandorba. The tone the Nambas, that dear Carson Lord Shirap than Songo Yorua, Shirap Popat. That day that were Garchen young god and them back, then in Jambra Shinji, the Tukala, then Surgeon Colo, Zip Yiba Jinje, Gongo, Tanga that Sua, Della Sungu Capsu, that de Garchen Pocha de Yorua, Dodo de Zip Yiba de la, then it's Zip Yiba get Zim Nam Latine, and there Jambar. Then Jambayang, Ishiksamban Jambayang, then Serzoma, Serzoman Doji, then Sharjik, Chani, Chani Bajik, then Yela, then Chani Bajik. Already.
So then there's the three moods of the mind, and the first one of that is compassionate, and so the compassionate mood has the power to outshine, overpower the troops, the army of Mara, with compassion. And then the second mood is peaceful, like a compassionately peaceful expression, which also pacifies all kind of haughty ones, all evil beings. And then the third one is called like the kind of awe-inspiring or awesome expression, and that is with that expression, the deity never forsakes sentient beings and always looks after them with great compassion. And that this awesome expression or awe-inspiring expression is also a sign of the deity's kind of confidence in wisdom, confident wisdom. So these are the three expressions of the deity's mind. And so then we come back to the visualization in the, so we have visualized the entire form of Manjushri Yamantaka. And, 1 second. And so at Manjushri Yamantaka's heart is a golden, four-spoked wheel, and on each of the spokes, so on the four spokes, on each of those spokes is Manjushri, a peaceful Manjushri, in golden color. And so that is the visualization of for the protection part, where we visualize the peaceful Manjushri in golden color on each of those four wheels. Let me just see where that is in the sadhana. One second, please. Okay. So on this, so on each of the four spokes is a Manjushri with a body and with a body the color of refined gold, with one face and two arms.
Tene chaye ke hirab go radin zin de yobare ta te ke marabu mamba server rad. Tene cha yon la taran tipsin je upa ke yoan in zin de ti ke gangla tene pote yore. Jayan hiraj paradis be tene poten zin de ba. Tene shab dorje chumotong ke yog ne tene hivak ta nyam godan dimba. Derag toni tene yarser nang de zeg there are that song around so soon comes here nang to sing then he work lands and soon work lands and then round down sunza ta type simjin tamje then you get no shiban deke then is ta chabde yorwa then de dek ta kjazoglo che parche dang then ne don dik dabla so batamje la chopa kunzo jo wan sena then don tamba wan sena nelo chuniji nelo tani ratu parsipa hako to parsipa ta tek chi de tini ta dana ba iko do yo samne ta te cha de yores.
So one face and two arms, and then each of them in their right hands at shoulder level they brandish a sword of wisdom. So this wisdom sword dispels the darkness of ignorance. And then in the left hands, at their heart level, between the thumb and the ring fingers, they hold the stem of an utpala flower. And above that, above the flower, is a volume of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. And then all of these Manjushris, peaceful Manjushris, they possess the 9 moods of a peaceful deity, and they are all facing inward. So in the context of the protection practice, the deities face inward. engaging in peaceful or protective activities. And so then we visualize that so what is to be protected is oneself and all others and limitless sentient beings. And their kind of life force is visualized as the syllable ni. And so what the activity, the protecting activity that is engaged in is to kind of gather back and protect the ni syllable, which is to, on the relative level, it means to protect us from obstacles to our lifespan and from disease and from evil spirits and all kinds of obstacles and difficulties and obscurations. And on the ultimate level, it means that so these manjushris are there to help us realize the nature of the mind of dharmata.
Tarati Taranta Telache Yom Tan Setan Telesopake Mambo Gia Yoritin Tesota Teramixa Checho Mayunan Sari. The Cantarata Tesot Lasso Tamje Susok Namju Jin Rindu Tela Om Manzushire Yamantaka Yamaranza Mamo Ekaza de Samayanzanzashi. Then the Jindin and Yoruba Chupapua, Tambo Jindingura. The Pamalang and Kalati. Didn't Nandun Nadan Yoritama on Manzishi, didn't about the Tamsegima. Then the Manzishire Hiresidita, Jampayang Chada Yuri, Yamantaka City, Tarate Yap Chada Yuri, Yamaranza City, Seri, Mamo Eka City, Yomri, then Samaya, the Tamsek Samba, the Zaza, Kawapego, Sopegoyuri, Zaza City, that Jinjimbak Chada Yoruba. And Yishibalazo and Tamsek Sambazalta, the Indian Wara.
So then at the invitation, then we invite. So then basically there's a lot of visualizations after that. So we like the consort and the Supreme Son and so on. But we won't go into all of those details now. But so then after having visualized, then we come to the invitation. We invite the assembly of the deities. And the meaning of the invitation is summarized by the invitation mantra at the end of the invitation. So the mantra is Om Manjushri Yamantaka Yamaraja Mamo Ekachati Samaya Chaja. So that summarizes the invitation. So Manjushri, so it's Manjushri. Yamantaka is so the male deity, the Yab, father. And Yamaraja is the Supreme Son. Mamo Ekachati is the consort. And Samaya here refers to myself, the Samaya being. And then Jaja is the invitation, so please come. So basically we are saying, you wisdom beings, come here to merge with me, the Samaya being.
Tini tiyo da samaya titralin si, tini yuksor samaya titralin si ba de. Tini tiyo da chansarwa de atepo pati tsaho si, atepo ho si ba de da tamsik samba. Da yi la ting yin de, tamsik yi la ting yin de, da tini pati tsaho si de, jinkar de lazo tangje la, de chansarwa tongre. Mari susok tamsik chansi gora.
Then next is the request to remain, and the mantra for that at the end is Samaya Tishtahlan. So that's the basically it means to remain, to stay. And then next, the third is the prostration, which is summarized by the mantra Atipuho Pratichaho. And the meaning of that is, so Atipuho is I recollect my samaya, and Pratichaho is so recollecting my samaya, I pay homage, I prostrate.
다 디오데 드린 주반 보고거든 주반 버려들라 아감파 뎀라 소바니 샵타 파티자 소하 파르들라 데니 체 주바시 체 주바 다 디갑스 소소라지 데니 신바든 셔근우보 탐제라 데니 신바단 진바단 제 자약 디그 동차가 요로요 데니 디오데 다 데라양 다롱체 마다바거든 라그 남바지 요나 데 데니 파 메게 식 din chi do ramsi teni choi zhe de la yamsi teni long pa torwa de la kamsi ne teni tanda chung go yore.
And after that we make offerings to the deity, and the mantra for the outer offerings is so argam patem pipe and type aloke gende nevidyam shapta ahung soham. And so here we should think that as we make these outer offerings, that we are freeing ourselves from all grasping to the outer material things, objects. And so if there still are some impurities, some impure perceptions that remain, then the next three syllables cleanse them. So with Ram, Yam, and Kam, then everything, so every impurity that remains is then burned by the fire of Ram and scattered by the wind of Yam, and then washed, cleansed by the water of Kam. 진질랍네 온와 홍게 파 진질라 용고 요래 때는 고볼로 적송네 홍게 인진 그니 중도 장로 요래서 아시바 되게 되니 이시그 늦을러 저겨 엄지드니 노용가 남가던 강네드니 어때다 자친 벌 파버네 데 홍인진 거 답아 장 담보 홍고 줘라 당에 지당때 로토피소라 소리 아디 두치 교드니 거람 저런 거 없는 거죠 엄디 남카는 신조라 엉 파페라 벨 남카는 신파레 자체모 남카 카마르 저런 거 없는 거죠 이네 야사라 로토피나 신송레 만땡하는 스코로 그런 로탄테나 차대요라 담보 야부 존에 니 빼거라 되게들 매네 on거다 되니 이네 홍인진 똑바 인즈도 바장 담보 인즈도 바장 거도와 거란 아니 거란 되가 나오아 호나 이긴 라비 현대 사리 엄 담보 라비 엄 담보 라나 이네더니 양 펜타 담마르 담보 인진 똑바 더라 가려ven는데 then the syllables omahung with which we consecrate, and Nagarjuna had explained it, those syllables. So actually, in the correct order of, so we say Omahung, but in terms of what they actually accomplish, it's actually the other way around. So it starts actually with Hung. So Hung first, because Hung purifies dualistic grasping. And then once that's purified, then transforms the offerings into a kind of a nectar of wisdom, a wisdom nectar, and then then increases it, so the offerings become vast, filling all of space.
다디오드 낭주들 옴스 데니 사와스데 탐지르와 빈자시드가 빈자시바데가 그동리 아메르다 시바데 데네다 지와메 베두즈 데니 카람 시바데 이로 낭 시바데 카헤스데 데니 지봉안에 델로 롱주로 낭 시바동리 데니 마하 시바데 자침보로 발랭 시바데 토마르와 양 카람 카헤 지바레 데니 마하 락타 시바데 차레 마하 맘사 시바데 샤 마킨네레테 시바르바 고로자나 마 고로잔시 레바 시타 시바데 닝 바수타 시바데 주마 다 나트로 there. That take a nang chuba de pukuyore. Nang tan.
Vasata Patusura.
Pasda
Then next are the inner offerings, which is represented by the next mantra. So it begins with so the first mantra is Om Sarva Pancha Amrita Lakaram Kahim. So Om is like the beginning, and Sarva means all, and Pancha means number 5, and Amrita is the nectar of immortality. And Karam means please eat, please accept. And Kahi means to joyfully, happily, to enjoy it, take it and enjoy it. So first we offer these 5 kinds of nectar, the Amrita. Second is Mahabalingda Lakaram Kahim, so then we offer next. So the Balingda is the Dharma. And then next the Maharakta Lakaram Kahim, so the Rakta is the blood. Then Mahamamsa Lakaram Kahim, the Mamsa is flesh. Then Mahakemniriti Lakaram Kahim, Kemniriti is the bones. Maha Gorochana Lakaram Kahim, Gorochana is the brains. And then Mahachita Lakaram Kahim, Chitta is the mind. And Mahavasota Karam Kahim, Vasota is the intestines.
That the sort of Nanchu the cups taking part in the Garanzology to so throw over that thing when you can in song and do Zobo Shibatan, Zambo Shibate, Zimbata Tabuton Chagure. Then Bodita Sanguchuba Chadure, then Ricky Ganashus in Barret. Then the Matan Rutavi Shayape Shibate, Darvichuba, Danchus in that they chadure.
And so these inner offerings, so these are substances that we might consider to be like kind of filthy, but what they represent, this offering represents is that by making this offering, we let go of such dualistic grasping to filthy and pure and so on. All becomes equal. And then the next is the mantra just bodhicitta, an offering, and that is the secret offering, and then the remaining syllables are Mataram, Rudra, Praveshaya, Pet. So that the last few syllables are the liberation offering.
That you the Shakbari, the Shakbad on Yamaranza, Samaya Lasubandi, Shakbari, the Lenapolos.
And then the next point is the confession, which is also summarized by the Yamantaka's 100-syllable mantra.
That you the Jetabano Rita, Jetabat Jahong Pang Sayatari, Jetan Za Shibade, the Tamsepala Shibatzer Jin Tangwutung, Hong Sidi Nismi Batzer Tem, Pam Sidini, Duduma Madaba the Yogros, Yogs, the Ho Hibade Jin. Dendu Mundu Dendu maker de Yuba de Mayaba. Guy drawing the Yubada de Tonado Chagure.
And then the next mantra is called the mantra that kind of seals or binds, and that is Cha-Hung Bam-Ho. And so the first syllable Cha, the meaning of that is that so the Samaya being invites the wisdom being to come. And then secondly, Hung, then the wisdom being merges inseparably with the Samaya being. Bam means that then we request for the sake of beings, please stay here, remain. And Ho means that, and when you stay, please stay happily. So not like kind of feeling that you only stay because you feel like you have to stay, but actually you should be happy to stay.
다 욕기바 데 타데바 그 요반다오지 말이다. 라지 이나 용아 마라데 많이 바라. 타데 가는 짐바 많이 봐. 란셈당고 이미 그 돈이 다 요용 거요. 다데 욕도 되니 따라데 남바 사와 ngajar timba namda timba 되니 데서 동반이 그 냠 샤와시 다티 남바 이게요. 되는 다 사다나 망보지 히에서 남바 사와리. 담보 남바 사바 미나 Tini ti ngajar te lai ngajar te zong to ko yomara la kandao ha ma hiba so la ti in samna kale ka bo chagarwa ten ta ngajar tin sala thoris ta ngajar tin ba hiba de kandar ngaran so la julu yu bi hirab ta na yige chekik lo hiba de hirab rewa mannan drochik dun hiba de hirab rewa ngaran so la ti hirab de yu la Teni jibsun jambe yang ngor chube jabra hinje hila teni derek tabi hirab de ngo chikpa la teni hirab de ya tsar zo suma ji yu tsa teni ta ngarang choga so ra ti la de ngo ji na teni ko ta ta ji ya yu chön na chö ya ba na yi ji ya yu de ba ji ris ti chane da ne ngajar tim ba shi ba da Garchen bore
then so then when we request the deity to remain, then also we should do so with an awareness that not remaining in the sense of the deity is high up there and I'm down here very low, basically seeing myself and the deity as separate. So not like that, but really seeing the deity as indivisible from your own mind and remaining in that sense. So then when we practice a deity, has different steps to it. So for example, we practice the clear visualization, and then also we develop a divine pride, a confidence of being the deity, and then we recollect the purity, and then there's experiences of bliss and clarity and emptiness and so on, which arise out of our meditation. And so all of this has to begin with the clear visualization, and then we really come to the pride or this confidence of I am the deity. Because if your visualization is not so clear, it's hard to develop this divine pride, because if we don't really actually know who that deity is, then it's a little difficult to say, I am the deity. So first you have to know who the deity is, and then you develop the divine pride or the confidence of being the deity. And so that confidence comes from knowing that this continuum, this mental continuum of wisdom is connected, of the deity and your own mind are connected. So, for example, the fact that you know how to recite even just a single word in a recitation, or you know how to recite the Mani mantra and so on, that's that wisdom quality in your mind. And in essence, it is one with the wisdom of Manjushri, who appears as Manjushri Yamantaka. And so in his mind, wisdom is matured, completely perfected. And since our mental continuum is the same, we are connected, that if we give rise to this visualization, if we cultivate the deity, then just like pouring water into water, we can become just like that. And so it's on the basis of knowing that we develop this firm or divine pride or confidence.
다 드니 다라데 남다 팀바스제나 간달라이 윤틴 팀바레 드니 nga chek ta hi gang na tesla sun tu pa ti la do tela nga ro mixa chem do te 드니 te tu pa chi di la ge 윤틴 tu ju yong go yorwa te dara la nga jar tin de yang 드니 윤틴 tu zer timba de na chi cha go yore 드니 da desar ma do pa nyam senare da gandar jinren ku thone 드니 soso ge te ge la de gom ne te chin du 드니 soso la teni himbadan zimbala subatan je patar teni sarwada timba takwa subake teni nyamtamje zenari desar mato pa nyamtamje susu jur sur jiwa ta tenenga ji chado yore
And then there is the recollection of purity, where we recollect the qualities of the deity. And actually, I skipped one part of just previously. There also was the praise, and so the praise doesn't have a mantra, that's why we skipped it. But it's like similar to the praise. In the praise, we also remember the qualities of the deity. And so also here, as you mentioned before, we bring to mind the deity's qualities, and we express them through a praise. And then if now we practice the deity in this way, then through the generation stage, the meditation on the deity, we become free of clinging, fixation, of grasping, and then abiding, sustaining that state then leads to the meditative experiences of bliss, clarity, and non-conceptuality. So these arise out of our practice of visualizing the deity, the recollection of purity, and the cultivation of the divine pride or the confidence of being the deity.
Alright, tini ma yundu kantar tara kamsom mali jaye chimporta songdusa dan de nenga de denre dan de la chirso som dang tini deng som sandab go song dig tone de yundu ta nawa gui chirso song ta ngarang zu nawa gui chirso shiba de tini nawa tamje lai ge ri song ko yore nawa tamje lai ge yin ba de teni namjung arang so ong a hong shiba di yingzhu som di ge toni de lakpa zanju dongda to taba ji rimji yongko yo ba re song re kanda we yongko yo re serdu ta nawa tamji namjung arang so ge je gang nang yo wa tamji yo rang ne drop de wan da wo je nang du teni de le teni ni sin ji bin zin ba de ge rang yin ge le ga ji ndu teni 박차 요든 거와게 마이로 데 뚜인로 요로와 다 강낭 담지 라이 로바 센드 라 시바데 파가 요 란신 투 드롭 데바 마이바 데니 라 코랑 양 저조글로 마제 주마단 자촌다방 라이지드 하고 용도 데니 나와 담지 간터 셈지 파야 야바 셈지 좀저자민바 다 데이터베지 하고 용거 요레
Okay, so then we come to so after having visualized in this way, and we come to, before the mantra recitation, the kind of visualization for that. And so this is, here we bring to mind, which is called our three approaches and three assurances, which are brought to mind here. So there's these three assurances is basically what we hold, the awareness that we hold during the mantra recitation. And that is the first assurance is of the body. So there's body, speech, and mind. And the first assurance of the body is of form, is to view all appearance, also all that appears, as the form of the deity. So viewing all three realms without exception as the boundless palace, and so on. And also the nature of that is, the essence of that is included in the Om Hung mantra, which we usually recite. And when you understand the meaning of that, then just by merely saying Om Hung, the entire meaning one by one comes to your mind, and you realize its meaning. And so here what you realize, what you should hold in mind when you think that all that appears is the boundless palace, is pure, is the deity, is that from your own perspective, from our perspective, it ordinarily seems that things, appearances actually exist, things that we perceive exist. And that is because we have a dualistic perception. And so whatever we do then naturally is done from this place of duality. And that always creates habitual karmic imprints. And these imprints are the foundation of wandering in samsara. So instead, what we should understand is that all that appears is the display of the deity, and nothing whatsoever possesses any true self-sufficient existence. And also the deity is not an inherently existing entity, but it appears just like an illusion or a rainbow in the sky. And so in a similar way, we should understand all appearances as nothing but the kind of the a magical display, the expressions of the mind itself.
Tene da tela nangtong ko dorje song le. Tene chakdong song dorje si. Song tan da dra tamje tene pena chakdong ri si dra tamje tong ba ni ri se na lamsang ha ko yo mare. Tene si da kare ri si na ye ne ko tong ni yin ba de tene sanje ke ka la tin ne tene ngaran zo ke ta je dra tamje tong ni ri si na ra tru unde tene nga su ra tru ro re ko dra ya bo inari ni bo inari meni ba inari tan de inza changdong song dorjes dorje yin go ade sanje ke tong ba ni ge ran yin rim pa la tin ya ba de tin ba da dun namyon jwa mi be chani dorjes don la te dar yin be chani dorjes tene rektong tok dorjes ta rektong shiba gare rektong shiba de 진릭 라몽오스 간다 ngaran 저거 진릭데 코 남도 잠보이나리 니바이나리 코랑 그 ngo토니 이시리스 이에네 네비 이시 디엔드 ngaran 저거 샘다 난과니 남시 체미바하 고용 용도 이시데 ngo토고 요레스 다텔라 홍스 이타이 데긴 춘신라고다 홍의 야네 데니 홍릭동 톡도르제스나 데네 다 dorji somde tara delan Garchen bo chade yore.
And then so we speak about the three vajras, and first which are represented by Om Mahung, and Om represents the vajra of form, that is appearance and emptiness, and then A represents the vajra of speech, which is sound and emptiness, the empty nature of sound. So normally when we just say sound, all sound is empty, it's difficult to just understand that like that. But so it is through the sound A, which represents this primordial emptiness, and the Buddha's teachings that all sound lack inherent existence and is empty, so that we gradually realize its empty nature. And that actually there is nothing inherently pleasant or unpleasant about sound. And realizing that is the vajra of speech, which is empty sounds. And the term vajra itself is a sign of an never-changing nature. It is the truthful words of the Buddha, and truth implies that it's not changing. It's an unchanging nature. So vajra, because it is the ultimate unchanging reality of things. And then third is the vajra of the mind, which is empty awareness, and that awareness is in essence your own mindfulness, which is in essence the mind of the guru and so on, the deity. And that mind, in its essence, there is no difference between positive or negative thoughts. Whatever arises in the mind is in essence primordial awareness. It is primordial because it has been there since beginningless times, and wisdom, it knows, it is a knowing capacity. And this mind, this awareness is not separate from space. And when you recognize that, you recognize primordial wisdom. And that is represented by the syllable Hong, which is called the vajra of the mind or empty awareness. So here in this context here, of when we recite this party of the mantra recitation, those 3 vajras are most important.
다 질소 솜디 강라 댕솜다 딩고 송고요래. 다 댕솜데 가르스나 담보데 따와 란종기 이시데 데니 이에네 dor송와 이에네 dor송와 인두 데니 믹사텔라 chen 베존다고 진 dor고알람 베존 먹고 차니 데니 텔라 베존 먹고 댕송 데니 니바데 란낭 이시데레 데니 거다 이시 니마레 우저인데 거다 이시 탐제 서서 용거 요두 데니 싱캄 로스 드럼 먹고 댕송 데니 콘데 탐제라다 redo da panglang la so ba thamche da tar songmen tu ta sanje sin lo so drya ji mi de wa ne lo de ngo de ngon thu ndu sanje si lo no drya mi ba mi du de ni ti ko to la che tha no chu go yu de tha de nam chu ba na tin ta la tha chu ba deng si ti deng som de da de ni dim ba ji ti nga ne de nyam ni nang go yo re.
So we said there are 3 approaches and 3 assurances. So these first ones were the 3 approaches. The second one are the 3 assurances, of which the first one is the assurance of when one has recognized the view that is the self-born, self-arisen primordial awareness that is primordially, originally liberated, meaning that it actually, since it already is liberated, there is no effort required to bring about liberation. So it is the assurance, the effortless assurance, so the assurance of an effortless mind. And then the second one is that now when one has recognized that all appearances are the expression of primordial wisdom and manifest just like sun rays emerging from the sun, but not being separate from the sun, so then one realizes that no separate pure lands and so on are to be established or created. So it is the assurance of not needing to create any pure land, anything pure, kind of deliberately. And then third is that when one has become free of all hopes and fears and acceptance and rejections of samsara and nirvana, then one gains the assurance that no separate Buddhahood is to be accomplished intentionally. So aside from realizing the nature of the mind, there is no other Buddhahood to be accomplished. So it's called the assurance of decisiveness or the assurance of resolution. So it is within that state of these approaches and assurances that we should engage in practice.
chersoson da dengsom de dimbangani teni tarati nimba de sondongo yor den da nimba de len re rob san hyubaina om ekaya matro chakde song se dan de gaus ke tan eka hiba de chik hiba tongda re jaga kela le jaga chik de hiba de karer se du jawa tamji hilong de chik de gaus ekaya matro ekaya ma hiba gaus yam jamra hinji hi de lata chazoglo kanda ngarang chumma da masun ndewa na woji yin ku yorwa de ndewa de tingin zin kan de de kton so de Thailand woji jong ku yorwa de dara de yamasi da hinji yin ku yorwa ngarang de jidan de duro hibande chek de lower de hibade dang ro hibade de sa chek de mandawari karesina de hibade du röhiba de symbol shiba de tarangaran yedag konstoba tanari de ta yina tik tungne de kare turungne de kare residu ngarang su ju ke nyumon danzi mare banderes de ta jabar hinji hinde tene tumong number tagba ke chazoglo tumong mapang nes tagba ke chani jabar hinji hi chaandu tene ekaya ma de song sta chi ge tige ngak ju simju ga ya Teni tomok topate, teni yonsu sangzu stelen teni ishila ya jenda barhyo simandao ta tunda terwa.
So when we recite the mantra, therefore we should do so while abiding within the state of the three approaches and three assurances. And then we come to then there's the mantra recitation. So just to briefly explain the meaning of the mantra. So it begins with Eka Yamaduro Chakra Sung. Eka means one in Sanskrit, and one also here implies where we said that within the expanse of primordial wisdom, all Buddhas are one. And so Eka Yama refers to Yamantaka, the male, the father, Manjushri Yamantaka. And so by saying their name, we, through samadhi and saying their name, we connect to, we as humans, we connect to the deity's mind and we invoke their activity. And so then the activity that is invoked for Manjushri Yamantaka, the male, is Duro Chakra Sung. Duru actually consists of two words, Du and Ru. Du refers to the demons or the maras, and Ru refers to the rakshas, kind of the flesh eaters, which are also hungry spirits. And then the real meaning of Duru together, this term Duru is one's own afflictive emotions and self-grasping, one's own ignorance. And Manjushri Yamantaka represents the complete purification of ignorance. That is the natural purification of ignorance without having to abandon it or reject it. So when you recite Om Eka Yamaduro Chakra Sung, then you think that likewise, may I also completely purify all ignorance in my mind, and may primordial wisdom increase within my own mind.
Teni hekaya matara tsardi sonsi, ta nducha takpa le songwa, teni longchu zoba ke namba, teni yom mamo chaming ma, de kojri. Teni nrimaya matara tsardi song hibate, ngajar takpa le songwa, teni yongting ke ranzo, trupa ke ranzo, teni semcho yama ranza. De koho yo pares. Teni sarwa sidu tan konde ke chu tamje rwa zita zirtum baini tekni ta baini hiba de gokpa teni tekni sirwa de zerwa beya doya se ta te che hops phate wa na che su jobs manda che nga de yong ko yor de donda te mares so so ke danzin ki ta hi galo hi pana ki mapang nes ta pas tumo mapang nes ta do cha mapang nes ta Kurang ngon chu ne hedang jewa de hedang rango melong yi ge ran yin ba ngon chu de ta di nga ni de ni ramji ta ngarang chu che zo glo dron ro yo res ta na ma tan na de ni phakala dran ro ji yo se te su job je de na ngarang chu ko wala yang jar cheng ro me se de dron to ko marwa
Then Hekayama Duro Chakra Sung, and that is the complete purification of desire, and appearing in the form of the Sambhogakaya, the mother consort Mamotagmima. And then Grimaya Maduro Chakra Sung is the purification of jealousy, and the manifestation, the Nirmanakaya manifestation of enlightened qualities, the Supreme Son Yamaraja. Sorry, not jealousy, pride. The purification of pride. And so it's the Nirmanakaya manifestation of the Supreme Son Yamaraja. And then so Sarva Chitta Sirtum Bidyan Jignan Beya Doya. So Sarva Chitta, it refers to all the phenomena of samsara and nirvana. And then Sirtum Bignan Jignan. So Sirtum Bignan. So what is it first? Bignan. So Bignan means to summon, to draw in, and then dignen is to kind of to bind, and then bea doya, so slay and to kind of slaughter. But then it might seem to be something really violent, but actually that's not what is really meant, because as I mentioned before, it refers to the afflictive emotions and self-grasping in our own mind that are being destroyed and purified without actually abandoning them. And that's the meaning of saying that, for example, desire is self-liberated, or ignorance or hatred are self-liberated. Self-liberated means that you recognize their true nature. And when you, for example, recognize the nature of anger or hatred, then it itself becomes the mirror-like wisdom. So it becomes liberated in itself. And otherwise, of course, if we just take it literally and we just think that there's this enemy that needs to be slaughtered, then, of course, if we engage in such activities, then this will not free us from samsara. This will actually tie us up more and more in samsara.
This samdra warin nodum hongza hibade kandar hyablo dakja polon monong korche sibe tonda jigba ro de nikapsu tonda gare ting yoresina tene hedang ta pa la sungwe chibda na po chado ta pa la sungwe sobda na po tene zungji ni ta pa la sungwe tene trok jegla tomar cheba tene chojar sinje ji ga la song khorda jeba 다 대 담제라다 돈다 대소라 고요 다 대 담제게 되네 락차에 소와세 락차세 대송 송신 쪼브로지 신단타에 베신진다 담지 자민구미 간스나 단지 이왕도 소나 다라리도 다 대 담제래 되네 쪼브로지 시 군접지 왕도 세나 돈담지 왕도 세나 되네 대소 그 니스미 베 돈데 떠네 되네 다 자브라신지시 그거는 공방라야 고야 다 실내조 대차도 바래.
Then continues some grivari nibum hum cha, and so that has the same nature as what comes afterwards. The same. So this is the Sanskrit, and what the few words afterwards are Tibetan. So some grivari nibum hum cha has the same meaning as takchak ben lob mino khodang cheba. So all of that means the samgrivari and so on. And what it means is that so then there is the form emanation, the Black Lord of Death, who represents the purification of hatred. And then there's the speech emanation, the Black Lord of Life Force, representing the purification of jealousy. And then there is the like the general purification of all dualistic grasping at a subject-object duality. And that is, so then here, Kordang Cheba means all the retinue. So together with all the retinue of the wrathful king represent the overcoming of this dualistic mind. And then Raksha Soha, so Raksha here means please protect and please defend us. All of us limitless samsaric sentient beings who are without protector, without help. Meaning that we all grasp at a self, so protect us from that. So that's the request on the relative level, and on the ultimate level, then we wish to attain the non-dual state of Manjushri Yamantaka, and to establish. So we invoke the activities to establish all beings in that state.
다 간다르 자와 탐지 힐론도 더 시바 시송바 인도 아더니 야용 거제 탐지 조절 신지 힐런도 조절 신지 히도 철도 나 홍예런도 홍예 때 르바랑종 그고 드가랑 레더니 데다 니스미 베네 네인도 데니 데데 하고소와나 아더니 다 간다르 잠바 신지 시게 다 조롬 증오 차네 아더니 데 내가 제 하콘도 요래 Tena ya against Tama Tujiche Nontor Songwaina Gomba Mansang Tolosha.
And so, as we said before, within the expanse of primordial wisdom, all the Buddhas are one. And so the entire retinue of all the deities are included within the Yap and the Yum, and then they are included in just the wrathful king Yamantaka himself, and then his essence is included within the Hung syllable, and the Hung syllable represents the essence of one's own self-arisen awareness. And when you realize it to be non-dual in nature, then you have really begin to fathom the nature of Manjushri Yamantaka. So that is the most important. These are the most important points. So we stop the teachings here. Thank you all very much. I'm sorry for any mistakes. I openly confess them.
Jambar Baba Jadar Jamba Dang Kunda Zambo Dean Dejan de Teda Gunja Jiza Dalos Giwan de Da Damje Rabda Ngo Chanjo Zimjo Rambo Je Maje Banan Jijer Je Jiba Nyamba Meba Gonde Gonde Bewar Jo Simjie Ne Ba Jinye Ba Nirde Nele Tarjur Jin Rove Ninam Malub Tadun Jongwa Me Ba Jo. Thank you very much.